with my old pal, Marc Labelle from Dirty Honey. You are such a rock star. Oh my, I don't even know where to start from when we actually started. I'm going to try. I will
Okay.
try. Okay. All right.
We'll get the
So
timeline
the
adjusted.
timeline is crazy because it was so fast, and which leads me to the sophomore release is Can't Find the Breaks, which I think is the absolute perfect title for the record, because that's you guys. You can't find the breaks. What's going on?
Yeah, it's been crazy ever since we got back at it with COVID. It's been pedal to the metal ever since. So we thought when that song title came around, it'd be a pretty fitting album title. So that's what we went with, and it's obviously indicative of like our lives at the moment, and that's what we felt was appropriate. So I think it's a good title.
It's a fantastic title. As soon as I saw it, I thought best title I've seen in such a long time, and such a connection with the band. All right, so you guys go back to Australia
Yeah.
to do the second one. What is it about the magic of Australia that really really seems to fit with you guys? Because there seems to be some sort of chemistry there.
Yeah, I think, we obviously have chemistry with the producer out there, and I really love it. I was just telling you, I'm in Malibu right now, and it's kind of like where we go is kind of the Malibu of Australia. It's called Byron Bay. So it's a really like magical sort of hipster bohemian town, like in the middle of two really big cities over there. It's in the middle of Sydney and Brisbane. And yeah, it's kind of own little Australian paradise, and it's good to get away. And I honestly think the biggest thing for all of us is the time change. So when it's like 6 p.m. there, it's 9 a.m. in LA. So our phones don't start going off. We have no activity until, we're pretty much done at the studio by 6 p.m. every day. So there's no distractions, and you're in paradise, and it's a really like creative environment that, yeah, like you said, we vibe with.
Yeah, you just shift into a whole other gear.
Yeah, for sure.
Which you need to do that in the studio. You don't need to be in a studio where you're looking around at the same things all the time. I would imagine there's a whole other part of your brain that opens up.
Absolutely. And like, that studio in particular, so it was a different studio than the one we went to the first time for the EP. It was a different spot. He moved to a new studio kind of up in the hills, and it was like, I mean, it was obviously paradise, but he's got a lot of spaces that you can kind of go off on your own at on the compound and like write lyrics or try and figure out a melody. So it's a really creative space for sure.
Yeah, and not just the brain, but also the gut. The gut goes to another place too, because you guys are there's such a vibe and a soul about the music. Won't Take Me Alive came to me because your management people, Mark, came out, did a trip, and played it for me, and said the guys have been in the studio and they've been working on some killer tracks. I'm going to play this for you, and you can't, tell anybody. I was so blown away because not only did I see the growth in the band, but just everything, the heaviness, the sexiness, the groove, your vocals. I love when your vocals are right out in front. Bam, zoom, hit you right in the face. And that was the first thing I got from the song. And I got, we always get vibes from music, and I never make comparisons, but I got the first time I heard an Aerosmith song, or the first time I heard a GNR song, or, and I love that about the band, because you never, ever lose that feeling. So yeah, the band will take it to a new level, but it's always going to be a Dirty Honey record. So I heard that literally it started out as a John Notto riff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It did, and he played it for me in London. Really this time last summer, and that was the first time I heard it, and I thought it was so good that I really needed to step up to the plate now, because I'm always asking him like, "Hey, do you have any riffs? Do you have something you can send me to work on?" And he's not the most how can I put this? He doesn't send me like a wealth of material that's like 100 ideas deep. He'll usually send, like, over the course of a record, maybe 4 or 5 things. But if he gets to the point where he's sending it to me, it's usually really good, and it'll wind up becoming a song on the record.
Quality, not quantity. He's a quality guy. The Notto is a quality guy.
when he's inspired like the full way, and like he will make a full demo of a song, drums, bass, guitar, you know, some other ideas maybe. And you know, that makes it easy to finish a tune, honestly. And you know, because it's already so developed by the time I get it. California Dreamin' was that way. There's been a handful of others, but yeah, so it started with that riff, and then over time we kind of really had to massage the melodies, and the lyrics actually came pretty easily because it's kind of a social commentary song, even though it's a little bit vague. Um, but yeah, once we had the melodies on it and stuff, it was like, okay, we're definitely onto something here, and that really freed our mind for the rest of the record because we kind of knew that was going to be the first single, and it was nice to just kind of tap into whatever you wanted to express or feel and put that on the record. And it was probably, we worked really hard on it, but it felt really organic making it.
Yeah, really natural. Well, I was lucky enough to hear a couple of tracks from the record, and I don't even know if they were full, you know, tracks yet or fully mixed or whatever. But yeah, blown away. When I talk about the growth, I'm not just talking about that one song. I mean, I heard a ballad that I was literally like,
Oh,
it
yeah.
was incredible. Your vocals on the ballad were nuts.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know, which one are you talking about? Do you know?
I'm not, I was not allowed to know what I was listening to at the time.
Yeah.
And it was like, I shouldn't even be playing this for you, but here's 3 tracks from the record. And I'm like, okay. And the ballad was just, it was a mind blower. So, I mean, Dirty Honey fans are going to be blown away when we get this full release this fall.
Yeah, there's definitely some, like to your point, some growth creatively, songwriting wise, instrumentation. Like it's just a kind of a more broad spectrum of flavors, if you will. And you know, that's something we definitely wanted to explore, and I think we achieved that, and I quite honestly think we did it pretty well. So we're really happy and excited. It's already so funny because it's like we were out there in March, so like most of these songs are already somewhat old to us. I've listened to the record
Right.
It's really weird to like be talking about it and having so much familiarity with the record that's coming out that it's like already old news to me.
Yeah. Well, we have a date, by the way, coming up because you guys are going out on the Can't Find the Breaks tour, November 5th, Asbury Lanes. You're taking out Austin Meade with you, who
Yep.
I think is just a phenomenal new artist. I love everything about him too. He's a great musician. He looks the part. He's a rock star. He's, you know, he wants to be phenomenal. He said to me, you know, I'm a competitive guy. I want to play well. I want to do well. I want my band to be great. I want everything about my songwriting to be great. So when I saw that bill, I was like, wow. So do you guys have, you know, you guys have a say in who you take out? Did you see him? Did you find him? What made you want to bring out Austin with you?
Yeah, we had a couple of artists come across the table, and he was, you know, obviously I think our fans will you know, find some good in his music for sure.
Yeah.
That's what,
Oh, yeah.
vice versa. So, you know, I think there's some similarities there, but it's different enough, you know, to add a little spice to the show and add a little bit of a different flavor. And he's obviously great and brings a little bit more of that Southern rock sort of
Yeah,
thing.
and he's a good guy. He's like a good dude too. So I think it's going to be a great, I think it's going to be a great fit. And I love the way he looks. He looks like Doobie Brothers circa like 1975. Like he's just a cool,
totally
the rock star. Look, I keep saying to people, and it doesn't take away from the talent. We need rock stars. You're a rock dude. You're a rock star. You're a humble guy. I know you. So you're going to be like, but we need rock stars because you need of the genre of rock. I program a successful rock station. I want rock stars also. I love, you know, substance, of course, is the most important thing, but you still want people who are going to get up on a stage and entertain, whether it's a Chris Robinson or a David Lee Roth or a Scott Weiland or a, you know, whoever it is. So we definitely need rock stars, and you are a new breed of the rock stars that we have out there now.
It's, you know, it's hard to, I think rock stars, a lot of the thing that made them cool and awesome was the element of mystery that we don't necessarily have anymore with social media and everything being so in your face and so constant. Like you can literally reach out to Steven Tyler right now on Instagram. He might not respond, but
he might. You don't know. You just,
you know what I mean?
You just don't know. Yeah. Yep.
Phone number like, through Instagram. It's crazy. So, you know, I try and distance myself a little bit from it for that reason. I I always liked the mystery of Robert Plant and Mick Jagger and Tyler and Chris Robinson. And, I know Chris Robinson, I don't even think he has Instagram. So I try to follow his lead a little bit and live my life. And if I feel like, yesterday I was in Montana in the mountains, I'm like, oh, this is cool. Maybe I'll throw that out there. And, like, what the hell's Labelle up to now? He's like in the mountains. Like, that's cool to me. That feels like Robert Plant.
Your Insta is definitely more appealing to me than most people, because I get to see the trips that you take, and they're very kind of spiritual journeys, and they're almost a little bit separate from Dirty Honey. So I love that. And you talked about your life, and when Won't Take Me Alive came out, it was also featured in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And I know how much hockey means to you. So when I heard that was going to happen, I was like, oh my God, this, because you're like Rocky, like you're like hockey and rock mixed together. Like you're a hockey guy. Everything for you has been hockey. The beginning of the band almost was sort of like, you were playing hockey with, and like it's such a connection for you. So that must have been a great moment to look at that footage and have your song and your vocals underneath that. That's gotta be amazing.
Yeah, it was sick. And I was somewhere in Europe when I first saw the first edit of what was to come. And I was like, it's so cool. And they had like all these, warriors on the ice, like bleeding, right when the lyric, you won't make me bleed, came around.
Great. I saw it. I was watching it in my office, Mark Gorlick was there, and he showed it to me, and when he was playing me the songs I wasn't supposed to hear, and he was like, you got to check this out. And I literally was like, oh my God, this is incredible. And I thought of you, and I just said, Mark must just be going nuts over this.
I loved it. And then, obviously when it plays, you hear a lot from people, and, and a lot of people from my past that, I grew up playing hockey with and stuff, come out of the woodwork and say nice things. So that was really cool. I'm going to see a lot of them too. So we're actually playing my hometown with Guns N' Roses here in like 2 weeks.
Yes, the 28th, right? The 28th is when is.
We play in Saratoga on the 1st of September. So
yeah, you got four or 5 dates or something. Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be crazy. And there's all like sorts of friends coming out of the woodwork again. Like, oh dude, like we get tickets, like it's sold out. Saratoga sold out on a Friday night during track season. It's going to be wild.
That's going to be amazing. So talk to me a little bit about the band. I want to talk a little bit about Jaden, because Jaden is kind of like meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Jaden Bean, who's your new drummer, but was the old drummer because he drummed with the band before they were Dirty Honey. So there's that amazing sensibility. And he looks like just a great addition, super great hitter, phenomenal groove master. Looks like he's just an amazing fit.
Yeah, he is. And he was before too. I think we just as a band like weren't very sure of what we were doing. And I think that put a lot of people off. That, you can't expect people to jump into a project if it doesn't have anything. I mean, we had nothing going on, you know what I mean? We're scratching and clawing our way through LA, but we didn't really have anything happening. But yeah, he's been a great addition. He's a lot of fun to be on tour with, but in the studio was really where I felt like, oh, okay, this is a real addition musically, more so than just being a drummer, because he's got a great sense of like harmony, and he really helps like push songs forward if you're stuck. Well, let's try that. He's very experimental, so it's a good tool to like turn to when you're in the studio and you're stuck on something. He'll be like, well, just try this or try that, and we just start trying things until we find whatever road it is we want to take. And you wind up with some sort of a finished idea, and you go back and revisit it and make it better if you want. But
and yeah, sometimes it's nice to have like a new set of eyes, ears, and hands, on the project. You guys have always been a very collaborative effort. Nothing, look, Corey left on his own, and he just said the touring was really tough on him. And let me tell you, when I looked at your touring schedule, especially for you as a vocalist, I mean, it's not a touring schedule. It's like a touring schedule 2.00000. I mean, it was just crazy. You guys were never home. The European dates were off the charts. You never stopped. It was really I started to worry about you as a friend because I'm like, man, what a grind on these guys too. I mean, while you love what you're doing, you guys were off the charts busy with getting out
Yeah,
there and playing music.
it was a lot, and especially for me and Corey. I think we take it the toughest when it's 4 or 5 in a row, a day off, 4 or 5 in a row, whatever. The drummer and the vocalist certainly get it the worst. And it is what it is. But yeah, we couldn't find the breaks there, and we still can't because we're
Yeah.
going pedal great weeks here coming up. So, and even now, like this was supposed to be planned time off, and then these Guns N' Roses shows came up, and like absolutely super grateful and happy to do it. But
Yep.
if there goes a couple weeks off, like we're gonna be flying
Yep.
back and forth, like
Yep.
like we changed across the country. So, it's a good problem to have to be wanted, but yeah, it's crazy. There's no other way to put it. It's nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're one of my favorite people on the planet. You know that. Love seeing you.
Nice.
Love your music, love having you at the station, love having you, a part of our rock and roll community. You got to know New Jersey loves you. Like we feel like there are certain artists that we feel like we sort of own, and you're one of, Dirty Honey's one of those artists.
Super pumped to get back to Asbury too, because I was there for See Here Now like maybe 2 years ago when we were on tour with the Black. I popped in there, and I've got a nice little thing with Danny Clinch now because we did a little performance at his gallery for a friend who unfortunately passed away from ALS a few months back. And so yeah, I mean, like one of our first big shows was at the Saint, and now like I have this Danny Clinch connection, and I've gone to Asbury and the Stone Pony on my own, in time off, and I've taken up surfing since we made this last record, so I'm like excited for the whole day now. And
oh, it's the best. It's the best. And Asbury Lanes is right next to Danny's gallery. I was at Danny's gallery literally like about a week ago. So it's such a yeah, I was filming something for VH1, ironically, and we did it at Danny's gallery. So it was so incredibly cool.
Yeah,
it's a great space. It's a great space. And Asbury Lanes, we are super, super excited to have you there in November, along with Austin Mead, of course, just another cool artist. And can't wait for the new record, and can't wait to see you in person.
Either. I'm excited to stop talking about this like hypothetical record, of songs people haven't heard yet, because I mean, every band says that, this is their best record. I mean, this is for sure our best record. So I'm very excited for people to hear it. We played a show in Montana the other night, and a couple of friends were able to hear some of the stuff we've been doing, off the new record at the show, and they were like, "Oh my god, like that tune and that tune." I was like, "Yeah, cool." Well, that's a nice validation from people that know anything,
Absolutely. Marc, it's always great to see you. Thanks so much for taking the time too, especially when you've got some time off, some downtime, and you're doing press and you're hanging out and you're checking in. I mean, it's always just a pleasure to hang out with you.
Likewise, and hopefully we'll see you when we roll through Asbury. So
you can count on it.
Love it.
DHA's Reconnect with Rockers is powered by Gary and Meg's Chicken and Ribs on Erie Avenue in Wayne. The best Jersey grilled, not smoked, barbecue. Menu at GaryandMeg'sChickenRibs.com. And by Dover Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram on Route 46 in Rockaway.